Okay, we're going to look at a binomial distribution here, and if we just read this, I'll explain what binomial is and why I know it's binomial. Heather takes a multiple choice test with 10 questions. Each has answers A, B, C, D, and she randomly chooses an answer for each question. Find the probability she scores exactly 4 answers correct. Right, now the reason it's binomial is because there's either right or wrong answers. One or the other is happening. There's only 2 options. And I'm going to write it out as x equals b for binomial. This is a little squiggly line, it's like the notation we use. And then we're going to write n for how many times we're doing something, and then p for the probability. So in this case, we've got a binomial distribution. How many times are we taking the test, or how many questions are there? 10. And let's say the probability that she gets one correct, well, there's 4 choices, and so she's got 1 in 4, or 0.25. Okay, now the first one says exactly 4 answers are correct. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my calculator to work all these out. And the new Casio is nice because it can work out these very, very quickly for me. So if I go to the stats menu and I go to distribution, and then I press F5 again because that's binomial, and I'm given a choice. Now I'm going to use the PD if I just want one value, so exactly 4. So I want that she gets exactly 4. So the x is equal to 4. Probability that x equals 4. P in front of probability. So I definitely need to go for this PD. And then I've got a list of choices. So data set at the moment I'm going to keep as variable. The x is how many I want to get correct. So I want 4 correct. The number of trials is 10. And P is the probability here, 0.25. So I stick all that in and I get my calculation, 0.146 if I round it off to 3 significant figures. Now B is slightly different, at least 4 correct. Now this means the probability of getting 4 or more correct. So I'm going to come back here, just going to go exit, come out of here. So I'm in my stat menu, I press distribution, I go to binomial again, but this time I'm going to choose C, which stands for cumulative, so when I want more than one. BCD. Now I'm going to put in my lower value, exactly 4. I want to include the 4, and I want to go up to 10. So that's the highest value I can have. It already knows that I did 10 trials, it remembers it from before, and it already knows the probability. So I press that, and I get 0.2 to 4, and I round it off. Finally, this one's actually quite straightforward. Just thought I'd stick it in there. Find the expected number of correct answers. The expected number is very, very simply n times p. So in this case, 10 times 0.25, so I expect to get 2.5 questions right if I take this test and answer them all randomly. So this is a binomial question and how we do binomial.